Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about making a moss pole. I have some plants that need them and I've been putting it off. So here we are today. As you can see, got one of my Monstera back there. I actually have two that need a moss pole. So yeah, we're gonna make one. There are several different ways to make moss poles. There's probably more than several. It really depends on what look you're looking for, what aesthetic you're looking for. There's a multitude of ways. You could do a quick search on YouTube and see a million different ways with PVC. There's mesh. Some people will take pieces of wood and actually wrap the moss around the wood. Like they would wrap the moss around the PVC. It is completely up to you. It's basically all of the aesthetic. At the end of the day, they're all going to do the same thing. They're going to provide support for your plant, and also for those who want to train the plants upward. Like for instance, if you wanted to make a moss pole for a pothos, so you wanted to train your pothos to trail upward and not downward. Yeah, so we're gonna get started. So you're gonna need some basic things with the way that I do it. Not very expensive at all, and when you buy the materials, you'll have enough materials to make multiple moss poles, all depending on the sizes that you're looking for. So the first thing I got, zip ties, good old Lowe's. These aren't very large zip ties. They're like super tiny. You don't need anything too crazy. This is in 100 count of cable ties. They are 0.81 inches in diameter, and they are 18-pound, 4-inch cable ties. You don't have to get a specific type of cable tie. I just got these because they were super short and they were only $4, and I didn't need the big crazy ones, and I wasn't going to the dollar store because ever since the pandemic hit, the dollar store is a little janky, so we're not going there. Obviously you're gonna need your moss. So I already have moss on hand because I use moss in my propagations. So this was like maybe $12 for this one. It is a 7-liter bag. It comes dry, obviously. And I think I got it from Home Depot. I've had it for a while. I've used maybe like 1/10 of the bag. I don't normally replace a lot of my moss super often in my prop box unless there's an issue or concern or something weird. Because I like to reuse everything, because I'm thrifty, and because spending a lot of extra money is not cool. And then you're going to get some netting. So it's actually more of like a hard mesh than it is a netting. I got a netting. I got this from Lowe's for $31. This is enough to make a lot of moss poles, and this is probably one of the smaller sizes. It's 3 feet by 15 feet. These holes are maybe about a 1/2 inch wide. I didn't want to get anything with holes too wide because I didn't want to give the Monstera holes to kind of fall into. So I wanted to find something that was a more fine mesh. And I'll show you guys again. Super easy to find. It was outside in the outdoor section, like where you would keep your chicken wire and whatnot. So yeah, $31, not bad, especially because you're gonna be able to make a bunch of moss poles out of this. So it's not like it's gonna be like a one and done, you're spending $30. You may be able to make at least a solid, I would say 15 feet, probably close to like 20, 25 moss poles, depending on the size that you make them. So yeah, you're not going to spend a ton of money to make these moss poles, and everything that you have, everything I have, a lot of people already have in their home. Now, obviously you can use chicken wire if you want to use the chicken wire. Me personally, I like the aesthetic of the black mesh. So let's get rolling. All right, guys, so we have our moss. It is soaking in some water. Ooh, I hate these little scraggly pieces. Soaking in water here for our moss pole. So usually this is like a 5-minute piece here. I kind of got used to how much water moss needs, so I only fill this up like maybe 1/6 of the way, because you don't really want your moss to be like sopping wet. You want it to be wet enough to be workable. You want to be able to work the moss into the pole and not be like super stiff and hard to work with. So, you know, I always say the rule of thumb is don't add it to be soup. You don't want soupy moss. So this is pretty good. This is workable. It's easy to pull apart. I've placed some of the drier chunks at the bottom, and by the time we get back to this side of it, to the bottom of it, we'll be good to go. So I have already pre-cut the mesh to use for the moss pole. And speaking of moss, if you haven't worked with moss before, you're going to make a mess. So don't play with moss in places you don't want to make a mess. The end. So we're just going to take the moss and lay it out here. You don't have to do it any type of way. I just try to lay it evenly. I try to be conservative with my moss making, and I probably have to make some more. So yeah, I'm gonna make some more because I want to have enough moss to really make this a stable pole. Yeah, I'll be back. All right, so I don't want to fill it to the brim just yet because I want to make sure that I can get it closed. So what you're gonna want to do, starting at this end here, I'm gonna add some more on there just to kind of make it even at that section. So you're going to take your moss and a zip tie. You're gonna put that zip tie there at the end. All the way down. Lays flush, and we're just going to continue that all the way down. So with this one, let's see, I'm not going to go too crazy. I'm going to move some of that in there. Yeah, that's good. So this is going to be roughly, you're going to want to roughly place your zip ties like every 3 to 4 inches. I don't know why my zip tie wasn't going. But yeah, you're going to want to, woo, technical difficulties, y'all. So every 3 to 4 inches. Mine is kind of more like 2. I'm a little paranoid. I think it's, again, personal preference. I would say rule of thumb is probably going to be like every 3 to 4. So I'm gonna kind of pack some more of this in there. I made extra moss, so we're good to do that. I mean, obviously I want this to be as straight as possible, so I'm going to want to place my zip ties close enough that I'm getting it closed without getting like those crazy bulges in them. Some people like to add stakes inside of this, like they will take an actual stake to put it down in the plant. I mean, it just is not my personal preference. So again, if you want to, you can. You can always affix a stake to the back of the pole into it. And you just need to keep in mind that when you're making a pole, keep in mind the plant you're making it for. Because those aerial roots with your plant will latch on and hang out there. So you want to keep in mind, you know, what your plant is going to do on the pole itself. See, I'm running out. I'm glad I made some more. Again, bring out your moss, people. So, whoops, that one didn't get mine out. See, didn't even follow my own rule. But you're going to want to just keep in mind the plant that you're going to put on here when you're making your moss pole. You don't want to, you know, make a moss pole that's not going to be conducive to that plant climbing it. And I mean, when you're talking about the difference in pothos or monstera, you know, they all climb differently. See, there we go. I didn't ring that out either. They all climb a little bit differently. So just keep in mind the aerial roots that your plant is going to put out and how it's going to attach itself to the pole. I mean, in theory, if it gets a little out of control, there's always room to cut this moss pole and remove your plant from it. You know, just nothing's ever super permanent. If you have some climbers like my pothos downstairs, my pothos Enjoy is a nut when it comes to climbing. So it's putting out these like crazy looking aerial roots and it's trying to climb in my humidity cabinet. So it's about time that I take it out. And probably decide whether to let it hang and trail or climb. Guess we cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, so you're just gonna continue doing this all the way down until you reach your desired length. Like obviously you can cut this mesh to whatever length makes you happy inside, based off of the plant that you're going to use it for. You're not stuck to a specific size, a specific anything. I mean, this roll is literally 15 feet long. You could cut it however it makes you happy inside. Your plant, your world. All right, so we are going to get this squared away here. All right, so once you're done filling it to the desired length, you're gonna wanna just cut off all of your little cable ties, zip wraps, whatever you wanna call them, whatever makes you happy. Again, your life, your plant. So we're gonna just get these cut off. I don't know where my pair of scissors went, but today we're gonna use my outdoor shears. Judge your mama, don't judge me. So, we have it. Like I said, if you're not wanting to make a mess, don't play with moss in there. You are going to make a mess. So, here's our finished pole. So that is going to go down into, that's bothering me. Gonna go down into the pot itself, and then the monstera will use this to climb. So I'm gonna get this baby installed and let you guys see what it looks like. All right. All right, so our moss pole is done. I let the baby leaves hang off at the bottom. I didn't really suspend them or try to train them up the pole at this moment. And these are actually those plant Velcro ties. I will put the link in the description for you guys that want to purchase it. Super cheap on Amazon. Super easy to use. I love it because it's Velcro, so you know you can take it, move it, place it a million times. It'll still stick to itself. You don't have to worry about throwing away. I think I got like 60 feet of it, but it was something like $8. So super affordable. Hopefully the next couple of leaves that come in, they'll train straight up the small pole, and we'll just have these little babies hanging out at the bottom here. So that that is it, guys. If you are loving the video today, go ahead, like, share, subscribe, hit the button for us. I'll be back with more in the future. Peace, y'all.